This remains one of the most humiliating and tragic operations in the history of the U.S. Navy SEALs. A Taliban leader had executed a U.S. soldier and turned his brutality toward his own countrymen. Unable to stand by, the Navy SEALs dispatched an elite four-man team to infiltrate Afghanistan and assassinate the high-value target, Ahmad Shah. Under the initial cover of Apache gunships, the team successfully inserted into the region. Utilizing high-end night vision, the four men moved ghost-like through the Hindu Kush Mountains toward the Taliban encampment. Upon reaching the summit, they transmitted reconnaissance footage back to command. Once the target was confirmed, the lieutenant led the team to find a suitable ambush point. However, the closer they drew to the camp, the more the signal deteriorated. By the time they found their position, they were completely cut off from headquarters. While 3 team members took cover in the brush to rest, the lieutenant continued to struggle with the communication gear. Their plan was shattered by the arrival of a local herd of goats. They held their breath, praying the shepherds would pass by. But fate intervened when a shepherd accidentally stepped on one of the SEAL's legs. Forced into a corner, they quickly detained 3 shepherds. The moment they discovered a handheld radio on one of the locals,
"What the fuck is this?"
the air turned to ice. The lieutenant faced an impossible choice.
Fuck.
Marcus advocated for release, a move of mercy, but one that risked exposure and a near-certain ambush. The other members advocated for execution, the safest tactical choice, but a violation of the rules of engagement that would lead to a court-martial. After a heated debate, the lieutenant chose the path of compassion. They released the shepherds and turned back to retreat toward the mountain peak where they last had a signal, hoping to call for reinforcements and regroup for a later strike. One of the shepherds leaped down the mountain like a goat and immediately betrayed the team. As they neared the summit, the lieutenant realized something was wrong. In under 5 minutes, over 100 Taliban insurgents had fanned out, encircling the entire peak. A massive firefight erupted instantly. Facing a rain of lead from PKM light machine guns positioned on the high ground, the SEAL team was forced to execute a leapfrog withdrawal, the fire and movement tactic. The team members took turns providing cover, alternating their retreat. Yet in the eyes of the 4 SEALs, the enemy was invisible in the dense brush. The Taliban's familiarity with the terrain far exceeded their own. Constant reinforcements pushed the Americans into total desperation. Finally, as heavy weaponry appeared on the ridges, they were left with only one desperate escape route. With 2 members down and the team facing total annihilation, the lieutenant made the ultimate sacrifice. He climbed alone onto a completely exposed ridge to find a signal. He successfully contacted headquarters for a rescue before falling in a hail of gunfire. The distress signal reached Bagram airfield, but with the Apaches out on other sorties, 2 CH-47 Chinooks were forced to enter the mountains without an escort. Just as the rescuers prepared to fast rope down, an RPG-7 soared through the air and gutted the lead helicopter. 16 Navy SEALs and Special Operations aviators perished instantly. In that moment, the fireball blooming in the sky incinerated Marcus's last shred of hope. Dragging his mangled leg to a stream, he encountered the very Afghan shepherd he had released. At that moment, his kindness was repaid. The shepherd brought him to his village and bandaged his wounds. However, his presence triggered a brutal Taliban reprisal against the entire village. It was only at the final second that the world's most lethal gunship, the AH-64 Apache and the AC-130 Spectre gunboat appeared in the sky. As the 30mm cannons and 105mm howitzers rained a death from above barrage onto the Taliban positions, the harrowing ordeal of Operation Red Wings finally came to a bloody close.